Margarita Obado takes a stroll in the not-so-scenic surroundings of Kisumu's Obunga slums. Supporting her 78-year-old frame with a wooden walking stick, many people here have come to know her and fondly refer to her as Dani, which means grandmother in Dholuo. They also know the story of Margarita and her compound. Littered in her small plot of land where her homestead stands are slabs of stone, marking the graves of her family members. Here in Margarita's farm in Obunga, 3 graves are visible. But according to Margarita, there are many more people who've been buried here, close to 9, most of whom include her unmarried grandsons. But not only that, in her compound, there are 11 other graves, mostly of her daughters-in-law, who've been buried outside their compounds in keeping with Luo tradition. As though it were the most natural thing in the world, Margarita lives, farms, and reclines side by side with over 20 graves. Her in-laws, great-grandchildren, and even locals have no qualms using the graves as playgrounds or stools. But the graves are the script to a string of tragedies few can attest to. Despite having given birth to 16 children in her lifetime, Margarita has only one surviving child. She has buried 15, including 9 boys, and 4 daughters who died in quick succession as adults. There was no disease as such. The girls died in succession in 1996, 1997, 1998, and 1999, together with their husbands. I consoled myself, however, that I'm not the only one to have faced death. Most of the graves are unmarked. Some lie side by side with litter or even open sewage, with little fuss being made over them as traditionally expected. Among the graves, 5 are from her 31 orphaned grandchildren. But even as Margarita declines to admit, some died together with their wives from the ravages of HIV and AIDS. Finally, when my grandchildren had finished school and were in a position to help me, they also started dying. I thought they would help me, at least buy me sugar or flour, but most of them died from tuberculosis because they were not adhering to medication.
Wengine wanaona kama HIV ni kurogwa. Na kuna wengine pia wanaona HIV ni kama chira.
The continuing irony is that Margarita's role as a mother once more has been replicated. She now looks after 10 of her 18 great-grandchildren, many abandoned by their teenage mothers. A task even the optimistic Margarita admits tests her diligence. Some of my grandchildren have finished school but don't have good work. The teacher says my younger children don't study well and they sleep in school, but it's because of hunger. Sometimes we borrow a little sugar from the shop and make black tea and drink and go to bed when we don't have any food.
They want to be girls, yet they have children. So they decide to abandon their children and leave her with them, so that in the night they can go to dance.
The story of Margarita Obado reads like a tragedy. A tragedy whereby a parent has managed to outlive not only her children, but some of her grandchildren as well. But it is also a story of love, a love that is willing to weather through the storms of life in order to ensure that the generations of this household do not die out, but live long enough to fulfill their potential. Esther Akello in Obunga, in Kisumu.